Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the flight deck. Again, Finnair 954. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the cruise and climb of the aircraft. We're approaching sunset. As you guys can see, it's not midday anymore. It's close to sunset. And yeah, we're about 40 nautical miles or about 30 nautical miles now from top of descent. And I thought this would be an opportune time to start configuring the MCDU for our descent. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll have the load sheet over here, and we can go ahead and go into the perf menu and then into the approach menu, and we can start entering all the information from the METAR over here. So Echo Foxtrot Hotel Kilo Helsinki International Airport, the QNH is going to be 1000. So let's go ahead and enter that in. The current temperature is, let's see where we can find the current temperature, 12 degrees. And the winds are 200 degrees coming from a direction of 200 degrees at a speed of 15 knots. So let's just go ahead and enter that in as well. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet, so we'll go ahead and enter that as well. And the MDA and the decision height I'm pretty sure is 200 feet, and the MDA is 359 feet. I'm just going to go ahead and cross-check that real quick, just to make sure we're not getting that value wrong, and then we should be good to go. So the it's 349, so my apologies, 10 feet lower than that. So 349 is the minimum decision altitude. And yeah, there's the descent all programmed in. We are currently at 34,000 feet, and we should be descending very, very shortly. So after Evadi, we're supposed to descend down to around 18,000 feet at Divam, and then to 3,000 feet by the time we get to our base leg turn towards runway 22 left, at Echo Foxtrot Hotel Kilo or Helsinki. So around about 14.2 nautical miles away. Let's go ahead and dial the lower altitude into our display here. Now, unlike the previous episode, this episode at least we know the sort of bugs and stuff we're dealing with, so I know that every time we make a turn in this aircraft, the vertical speed indicator or mode just wants to crank back to its original setting. So we're going to have to keep an eye on all that stuff, but at least we know what to look out for at this point. So 10.6 nautical miles away. Let me just dial the range back to 80 nautical miles here. So there we go. And we can go ahead and initiate the... In fact, I'm just going to wait for the 9 nautical miles to pass. I don't want to start descending too early here. So pretty close at the moment. The FPS is very, very bad at the moment because we have some high altitude clouds here, some high level clouds, which is really demanding on the GPU, as it's asking the GPU to build volumetric clouds both at a lower altitude down there as well as up here. So as soon as we get below this cloud layer, we should be fine. So 5 nautical miles away from Evadi, I'm happy to start the descent here. So let's just go ahead and start managed descent. And let's configure the vertical speed. So I'm going to say 1,500 feet per minute should be just fine. And we go ahead and enter that in there as well. There we go. That should start descending us down to 1,500 feet per minute. And there we go. We have started to descend. You can see the altitude ticking back over there. And we have around 61.3 nautical miles to be able to descend down to this 18,000 feet altitude constraint. And after that, we're going to be going straight down to 3,000 feet in terms of the altitude checkpoints we have over here. And yeah, I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the initial descent phase, and I'll see you guys when we're close to the next altitude checkpoint, which is 18,000 feet at Divam. Alright, so around 8.8 nautical miles away from DVAM, so let's go ahead and dial in a lower altitude. As promised, we'll go down to 3,000 feet, which is also our glide slope capture altitude for runway 22 left at Helsinki. The runway length actually happens to be 3,500 meters, so 3.5 kilometer runway. We don't really need auto brake medium for that. We can go with auto brake low, so that is also set. And about 20,000 feet. We're pretty close to to cutting through this cloud layer underneath us. And since there's a lot of clouds, there's also going to be a lot of turbulence. If I dial up if the weather returns on the navigation display, you can see pretty much everything in front of us is red or pink, and you can also see and probably hear some lightning and thunder happening in the background over there. So it's going to be pretty turbulent, the arrival. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the passengers to sit down. So go ahead and turn on the seatbelt signs. We're also going to turn up the overhead integrity lights again, because as soon as we dip below the cloud layer, it's going to be I think the vertical speed adjusted itself. Okay, we're going to manually, again, adjust that down to 2,300 feet. 2,000 feet per minute rate of descent was just fine at the moment. We're supposed to be at 3,000 feet by the time we get to... we have another 80 nautical miles to slow down and to get to 3,000 feet by that point, by Keenon, as you guys can see over there. That's the waypoint. Since we know it's pretty much going to be extremely turbulent, I'm going to just turn off the weather return so that we have a cleaner look at the ND here. There we go. And everything looks good. 17,400 feet. We're descending through. Seatbelt signs are on. We're going to ding the cabin once as we prepare to enter the cloud layer. This looks very intimidating, to be quite honest. I mean, I don't want to go to external view because that creates a lot of noise, but this is very, very intimidating. In fact, it's very beautiful as well. You have the sun cutting through the layer of the clouds above this layer, so the high altitude clouds, and then the shadows and the tessellated sort of colors and everything is just bouncing off of these clouds. It looks very beautiful. Absolutely realistic. And we're taking that turn. That obviously gets rid of our vertical speed. So again, going to keep managing that here, 2,000 feet per minute. Don't want to descend too fast because then we're going to be using too much thrust. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just not the right way to do it in terms of your descent. And 15,600 feet. In fact, we can slow our rate of descent down a little bit more as well, so we can get it down to around 1,500 feet per minute. That should be okay. We have around 60 nautical miles to slow down, so that's more than enough time. And we don't really have anything else to do at the moment. The next major thing we have to do is to turn on the landing lights and the landing system as well for arrival. And that's when we pass 10,000 feet, however, so we have a little bit of time left to do that. So descending to 14,800 feet. I'm just waiting to cloud surf. I've actually never done cloud surfing in this simulator. The first flight that we had, we did from Madrid. We only had some rain showers on the Madrid-Barajas International Airport. We didn't really have any showers leading up to the city or anything as we continued the climb. And Lisbon was absolutely clear weather. It was absolutely fantastic. So this is probably the first time I'm looking at such turbulent weather conditions. And it's very exciting. I want to see what happens. I want to see how much the aircraft bobs and weaves as we try to navigate through these condensed megastructures in the sky. It's pretty cool. Clouds are very cool. In fact, the more I look at them in the simulator, and the more I have an obsession to make them look realistic in the simulator, the more I go outside and in real life and look at the clouds and be like, I want that cloud in here. I think Rex Skyforce does a fantastic job in P3D. I don't know much about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I've heard that it's not amazing because the default weather system within Microsoft Flight Simulator is fantastic as it is, so there isn't really much to improve upon. But the RexForce PC weather generation system for P3D and Flight Simulator X, that looks absolutely fantastic. I used to love the cloud textures that they presented on other YouTubers' videos. I've never really been much of a P3D user, never really tried it too much, so I don't really know much about it, but I'm sure it's amazing if I did try P3D on my simulator as well. So 1,500 feet per minute is suiting us just fine. At Hotel Kilo 804, we're supposed to be at around 10,000 feet, so we should be getting there just fine. There shouldn't be any problems. We have around 17 nautical miles to slow down. Not to slow down, sorry, to decrease our altitude down to that point. So we're good to go. And Helsinki does have a few rain showers, so the METAR information does suggest that there's obviously a lot of clouds, and as we saw a while before, there was some lightning and thunder, so there is going to be a little bit of drizzling happening. The wind situation was 15 knot crosswind for arrival, so that's not going to be very pleasant, to say the least. Now, we're going to see how we can do it. Should be okay, though, for the most part. We just have to come in at an odd crab angle and then in the end use the rudder to be able to center ourselves on the center line of the runway. All fun and games, though. There's a reason this is a simulator and not real life, right? Alright, so coming through 10,700 feet, let's go ahead and turn on the landing lights as we speak, so both landing lights can come on as well as the wing light as well. There we go. 10,400 feet. There we go. We should be beginning the cloud surf any minute. In fact, I think we're already cloud surfing. Let's go look at this from the wing view. Look at that. That looks beautiful. Still have those grainy textures at the very end of the clouds. Nothing we can do about it. We discussed that at length in the previous episode if you guys want to go check that out. It's just an inherent limitation of a 1080p screen and the way volumetric clouds are drawn in general. It's very hard to draw these. I mean, they look very simple and like very procedural, but it's really not. There's a lot of sort of algorithms and coding that goes behind actually drawing these well. And in order to be able to enjoy them in the best way possible, if you guys are looking to... I got a few questions and comments in the previous episode asking me to sort of decide between X-Plane 11 and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I think we've slowed down our descent here, so I'm going to go ahead and say descend. Oh, that's because we have an altitude constraint at 10,000 feet over here. We can actually go ahead and go open climb then. Open descent, I meant. There we go. And we'll configure the vertical speed as well to 1,500 feet per minute. There we go. That should be okay. Yeah, so I got a few questions in the previous episode asking me whether they should get X-Plane 11 or Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. If I had to answer that question, it's very complicated to answer, to be honest, because Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is still in its infancy at the moment. There's not a lot of developed add-ons, not a lot of freeware and payware packages as compared to X-Plane 11. X-Plane 11 I've always found to be fantastic in terms of the flight model that they have and the wealth of add-ons available. Just freeware add-ons, like you don't have to buy scenery, because what I noticed in P3D and FSX in a lot of ways was a lot of people really, like, it's an investment to be able to buy scenery and buy stuff ground textures, mesh, and stuff like that. X-Plane 11 has a wealth of freeware add-ons. So if you don't really want to invest too much in the hobby, and if you're just getting into the hobby, you don't really know if you're super interested in it yet, then I highly recommend X-Plane 11 at the moment. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is also on that route. I mean, this A320NX mod is a product of that, so... yeah, so this is an absolutely fantastic free add-on that I'm using, and it's providing me with a good simulation of an A320. Not perfect, but it's getting there. It's 100% getting there. Alright, situations are getting very, very turbulent as we speak, as we go through these clouds. This is super, super fun. Let's go ahead and dial the range back to 20 nautical miles here. So 3,000 feet at Vemi as well, so... let's go ahead and increase our rate of descent a tad bit here, so 1,800 or 700 feet per minute should be just fine there. We're in the thick of it, guys. This is exciting. Look at the wing flex there. Oh my god. This must not be very comfortable for the passengers in the back, nor the cargo. Look at that. We broke through the clouds in the middle there. Now we're going to go through another patch. I could fly like this every single day in the simulator. It's absolutely fantastic. Oh my god. When you glide through these clouds, that really gives you like a sense of speed. Like you seriously understand what 240 knots really means and what it really feels like. It's actually, we're going at 310 knots of ground speed, but 240 knots is the airspeed, but it's still like super duper fast. Really gives you a scale as to how far human ingenuity and engineering has come. All right, so we'll go ahead and also start configuring our speed. So let's set speed down to 220 knots here. So we want to slow down nice and easy before we get to the runway. We'll also get the landing system armed on both sides. Not the VOR, sorry, the landing system. And yeah, we're basically going to go straight here and then take a weird sort of rightward hat kind of pattern here, and then we're going to come back left and land at runway 22 left. In fact, the runway should just be right below us at the moment, right down there somewhere. But we're going to do an entire sort of traffic pattern and come back. You can also hear some thunder in the background over there. This is very scary. Not going to lie. Okay, so we're under the transition altitude, so let's go ahead and set the transition altitude, which is, sorry, not the transition, the altimeter setting is 1000. And also go ahead and do that same on the standby display here. There we go. 1000 is set. And we can actually go ahead and slow down our rate of descent to about 1000 feet per minute. That should be just fine. We'll also go ahead and arm the spoilers here, because I'm pretty sure we're not going to be needing them today. We've done a good job with our descent. Maybe we could have descended a little bit slower, but that's okay. And what else do we have here? We're still in the thick of the clouds. I don't know what the ceiling is for the clouds. I'm pretty sure it's very, very low, so I don't think we're going to have much in the way of visibility today. We're going to be relying on instruments for the most part. Okay. Coming down to 3,000 feet. Let's try and slow it down as much as possible so we can get to 3,000 feet as late as possible. 200 feet per minute is just fine. Okay. Let's get this down to 10 nautical miles just to see what we have here. So I don't know if I'm going to take that entire right pattern, whatever that is. It's a weird pattern. I might just turn left somewhere here and then intercept the localizer as quickly as possible. And maybe do a direct routing to this waypoint, which is BFIX, Bravo India, Foxtrot India, X-ray, which is over here. Yeah, we can do a direct routing there as well. Glide slope is coming back nicely. Oh, what's happening here? Where did our thing go? Why are we taking a left turn here? This is bad, this is bad. Okay, more bugs happening here. We want to maintain this heading here. There we go. Okay, so we've encountered another bug, ladies and gentlemen. This has happened. Since I don't want to take any more risks, I'm going to also go ahead and arm the runway turnoff and taxi lights here, just so we don't have to worry about that stuff later on. And we'll travel at this heading. We'll also slow our speed down to 200 knots as we speak. And we're coming up on that left turn very, very soon. So we'll fly this heading. We'll do a manual heading adjustment. We'll self-vector ourselves towards the runway here. 3,000 feet is good to go. That's also our missed approach altitude, so nothing to do there after we have established ourselves. Continue slowing down to 190 knots is fine, to be honest. And we can also take flap 1 right now, once we're safely below that speed. There we go. Flap 1 is set. Alright. Still have no visibility whatsoever, and we can start taking that left turn here. Don't want to wait too much longer for that. Let's slow us down to 170 knots here. And let's also see what our approach speeds are. So let's also activate the approach phase. Landing speed is 153 knots and approach speed is 170. So it's actually going to be pretty high in terms of the speeds here. That's alright. So 173 knots is set. Coming in nice and easy. Should be getting the glide slope just about very, very soon. And the localizer, still towards the right here, should be coming up. The diamond. Slow this down a little bit so we can see it. In fact, let's try and do a direct routing towards BFIX. I don't know if that'll work. There we go. BFIX direct. Should plot a course right to it. So if I give controls to the aircraft, yeah, it's okay. It's plotting it directly. And the localizer should be coming alive any second now. I just want to wait for the localizer before we arm it. I have no idea what's even next to us. Do we see anything from the wing view here? Do we have any... I can see some faint stuff over there. Maybe that's like a mountain or something. God knows what we're heading into here. Yeah, I can see some faint scenery in the distance. Yeah, some mesh, but nothing really too much. Yeah, why are we... Shouldn't be continuing that turn so much. Yeah, I don't really trust this. I'm just gonna go ahead and set it to B-fix over here. Come on, localizer, please come alive. I need you right now. Let's also take flap 2 here, just so we're prepared. We're about 14.4 nautical miles away from the runway here. Okay. Come on. Localizer does seem to be extremely twisted. If I arm the localizer here, we should get it. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting the localizer, and we should be getting the approach mode activated as well. So, okay. Now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. That's good. As soon as the localizer starts coming down over there, which it is, just about... Sorry, not the localizer, the glide slope. As soon as it starts dropping down, we'll go ahead and take flap 3 and gear down as well. And then we'll be pretty much fully established for the approach. There we go. Let's ding the cabin one more time.
Camera crew, please take your seat.
Perfect. All right. Still a little bit high, I believe. Yeah, after we're still at, supposed to be at 3,000 feet at Tixed. So there we go. The glide slope is starting to come down. We'll let it come down a little bit further here before we take flap 3. I'm just waiting for some sort of visibility. I want to be able to see the runway when I land. I don't think there's any auto land capabilities within this aircraft, so it's either got to be this or that. It's either got to be a failed landing or a go-around. I do not want to do the latter of the two. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take flap 3, gear down. All right, let's also go ahead and arm the approach. And let's give all the speed controls to autopilot here, so it's slowing ourselves down. Okay, so just as a checklist, auto brake is set to low, landing lights are armed, seat belts is on, no smoking is obviously on, ground spoilers are armed. We're pretty much ready for landing, guys. That's pretty much it. Also, the angle of attack we're maintaining right now is also normal. It's not like super high like it was in the previous episode, so I guess that's a fix they've implemented. Still no visibility of the runway, still no visuals in terms of where it is. We're still 2,600 feet up, but if we don't have any visibility till our minimums point, which is 349 feet, then we're going to have to initiate a go-around. I don't really think I have the patience for a go-around, so I'm just going to change the weather at that point to something more clear, and then we're just going to go land. But this is... Yeah, there's definitely ground down there. Yeah, you can clearly see the mesh and the scenery. There's roads and everything, but nothing from the cockpit view. Okay, let's also go ahead and take flap full here. There we go, and we're slowing ourselves all the way down to our landing speed. We still have around 6.8 nautical miles to go, so hopefully as we continue our descent, we can get a visual of the runway. Let's get a better vantage point here. There we go. Come on. Where are you? Alright, we have some scenery over here. I guess we also have the sunset happening in the distance over there, so that's the problem. We can't really see anything through that. But we have pretty good visibility over here. Just give me a visual, guys, please. Just give me the pappy lights. 1,500 feet per 1,500 feet altitude. Still no runway indications. Ah, there we go. We have some indication. There we go. There's the runway. Okay, that's good. We still have no indication of the pappies, though, so I'm going to obviously continue with the landing, and there's a severe crab angle, as you guys can see. We're pointing our nose in that direction, and the runway's there, so the crosswind is killing us. It's sort of a headwind. It's a 33-knot headwind. That's insane. Get strapped in for a bumpy landing, guys. That's all I'm going to say. We have some cottages down there. Some buildings with goofy rooftops. Looks beautiful. Never really been to Finland either, so it's an experience all by itself. Some trees, some big building over there. Alright, let's get ready. Let's get it ready for a bumpy ride. Okay, now we have a good visibility of the runway as well, so not too worried. Oh my god. The lightning's insane. Okay. Alright. There's the sun creeping in as well. This is just what we need, right? I'm gonna go ahead and try to take a screenshot here real quick. Just for the thumbnail. Excuse this. There we go. Okay. Alright, guys. Let's go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. We're a little bit high, so we're gonna have to start correcting for all that stuff. Okay. Crab angle's alright. Try to follow the localizer as much as possible. We're gonna have to use the rudder pretty harshly at the very end. Alright, we're pretty high, so let's correct for that here. The controls seem very stiff, so I'm not able to access the controls very well here. It's not very good. Yeah, we're dipping below now. Super low. Okay. 2 reds, 2 whites. Again, a little bit high. This is not very easy to control. 100 feet.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Alright, let's retard the thrust levers. And let's go.
5.
There we go. There's a bit of a bumpy landing. Let's arm the reversers here. Reverse thrust is armed. Maintain the center line as best as possible. That was a bumpy landing, but we tried to make the best of whatever we had there. Alright. 70 knots. Reversers are stowed in. For some reason, the rudder was fighting me. It was like the rudder was going left for some reason. I wasn't able to control it. Okay. Manual braking. And let's go ahead and vacate the runway here. Alright. That was a landing and a half. In fact, it was an approach and a half. Okay, so 32 knots. Let's go ahead and turn off the runway lights. Taxi lights, runway turnoffs can stay on, wing can go off, and the strobe can go to auto as well. And we can go ahead and park at any gate here. We don't really have any gate information from FlightAware, so we can go ahead and park at any gate we choose. Where do we want to park? Somewhere over here, maybe? The main terminal? Yeah. So we'll take a left here and then go park somewhere over there. That's the plan. Yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed that landing. Not really too much to say there. For some reason, the controls were really yanky. I mean, that wasn't the case in the first flight we did in the previous episode. The previous episode, the controls were smooth until the very end. Here, it was very stiff. I don't really know how to explain it. It was extremely stiff. I don't know why that was. As soon as I started the flare, the aircraft kind of yanked backwards, and that kind of delayed our touchdown. So that wasn't very ideal, but it's alright. It's what we got. Let's also go ahead and start the APU. And nothing else to do. We can turn off the weather radar. No longer need that. Predictive wind shear can come off. TCAS can come to standby. And we'll leave the actual main TCAS system on for a while. We're overshooting this turn big time here. No, we're fine. Just need a little bit more thrust for this power-hungry aircraft. Alright. QNH is all good. Yeah, we're pretty much good to go, guys. We'll also go ahead and turn off the runway lights. No longer need that. We have no rain. Surprisingly, there's a lot of thunder and lightning happening in the distance. Look at the cloud ceiling. You would obviously assume you would get rain in this situation, but there's absolutely no rain at the moment, which is very surprising. We'll go ahead and park next to those aircraft, next to our brethren. I don't want to park here all by myself, you know, isolated and stuff. I don't like that. And plus, that's going to give enough time for the APU to start up as well. Okay. Go ahead and ding the cabin one more time, because I like the chime. There we go. It's kind of personal enjoyment. What do we have over there? We have a Turkish, not a Turkish. What is that? Is that that's a Cathay Dragon, isn't it? Yeah, Cathay Dragon and a Southwest A320. Both are abysmal and do not belong here. And we are absolutely tanking it down the taxiway right now. I don't know where my concentration is, but it's clearly not in the sim right now. That's alright. Okay, approaching the gate. So we'll go ahead and park at the next gate over here, which should be this next right turn right over here. So there we go. We can go ahead and get the taxi light off. No, don't want to blind the marshaller, but there is no marshaller here, so nothing to worry about. And let's see, let's go to the outside view just to be able to nail this parking. There we go. We're pretty much centered. Perfect. Let's just keep going straight. Also, let's retract the flaps. Forgot to do that. That landing really left a poor impression in my head. I don't know what to think at the moment. Alright, yeah. Let's not tank. 987654321. Let's stop over there. Perfect. Let's go ahead and set the parking brake. And APU is armed. Let's get the APU bleed up and running. And let's turn off both engines. Get the seatbelt signs off. And let's wait for 25% N1. Sorry, N2. So let's wait for the N2 percentage to come down below 25%. There we go. Beacon light can come off. And strobe light can also come off. Nav and logo can stay on. And we'll get the fuel pumps off as well. And ding the cabin one more time. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, that was a successful... Well, it depends on what you call successful. It was a flight. it was the first flight in our Around the World series where we take the aircraft from different parts of the world and basically transport them to different parts. We basically explore the entire Earth in the simulator. So if you missed the introduction, the first episode of the series, go check that out. That is us taking off from Copenhagen, and then this episode is obviously us landing into Helsinki. So the next episode, I don't really know. You guys can leave comments and suggestions as to what routes you want to see down in the comment section below. I would be happy to oblige. I don't mind flying in any part of the world. Okay. Thunder is interrupting us. Yeah, I don't mind flying in any part of the world. It'll be absolutely fantastic. I want to explore the deepest coves and the highest mountains and everything this beautiful planet we have has to offer. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you guys enjoyed, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That really helps me out. Also consider watching the Aircraft Dissected series, where we explore and do a deep dive into every single aircraft and their panels and systems and switches. The first episode for the A320 has been uploaded on the channel, so go check that out if you haven't already. And there's nothing else much to say, guys. Thanks for flying by.